everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is the Mental Breakdown. I'm your host, Joey Velez. Happy Saturday. It's a beautiful day here in Wichita Falls, Texas. A lot of good sports on right now. We got F1, we got the Masters, we got the end of the NBA season. So, Warriors basketball is very exciting right now. I can't complain. Life's good. Speaking of that, in terms of gratitude, I love my dog. I'm so grateful for having this little dude. He's just laying down here on the hardwood floor, just relaxing, soaking in the sun from the balcony. It just brings a smile to my face each and every day. So no matter what kind of day I'm having, good or bad, whenever I come home and I see that little dude wagging his tail, uh, great way to end the day. So definitely grateful for having this little pup in my life. Shout out dog owners. Shout out dog owners. Shout out pity owners. Because pits get a bad rap. So I read this quote and it says, "If you can't beat the fear, then do it scared." So today's topic is related to fear. And if you're doing any sort of task, any sort of performance, anything that is of importance to you or means something to you, then a little bit of fear is expected. When you face a threatening situation or an important situation like that, your fight or flight response is going to kick in. You're going to experience more adrenaline. You're going to, get an increased heart rate. You're going to experience tense muscles. You're going to experience faster reflexes, which are essential for survival. We need these. We need these to be activated in those given times when we perceive a threat so that we can be prepared. However, when we experience these sort of responses and view that fear as being bad, well, then what we're going to do is we're going to waste energy trying to avoid that situation. We're going to waste energy trying to get rid of those feelings. However, waiting until those feelings disappear, waiting until that fear goes away, you might be waiting a long time. So instead of trying to avoid the feelings of fear, instead of trying to get rid of the feelings of fear, you have to learn to do things in the presence of fear. One way to do that is through active planning. So if I know I'm heading into a situation that typically causes me some stress, some anxiety, some feelings of fear begin to present themselves, maybe I ask the questions of, what can I do to deal with this experience in a more effective way so that when I get there, I'll feel a little bit more prepared. My brain will have a little bit more of a framework to respond more effectively in those moments. What actions can I take? So when I get to those moments, like what are some specific behavioral actions I can take to help me get through and push through that moment? Where can I get advice? Who can I talk to about handling fear? Who do I feel like is a good resource that's going to give me the information I need to at least help me be able to live with the fear of that moment? But then also thinking of the worst case scenario. Well, what happens if things go wrong? Well, then what can I do to handle those moments? Because even with all the planning in the world, we're still going to experience non-standard things. They're not always going to go as planned, but we can still think about effective ways to handle those situations when things don't go our way. Another thing you can do is reframe the thoughts you're having. So instead of saying, "I am afraid," maybe it's saying, "I am having the thought of fear." What that does is it removes the label of that sentence. If I tell myself I am afraid, that is now a characteristic that I am possessing in that moment. Where if I'm telling myself I am having the thought of fear, that is now just saying here's something that's happening in the moment. So it's less of a hard concrete fact and more of an experience, which is something that we have control over, which is something that now we can learn to deal with more effectively because I've been able to remove that label. So lastly, you can use a diffusion technique where you pretend your hands are your thoughts. And what you're going to do is you're going to place your hands in front of you, palms up, as if they were open pages of a book. And then what you're going to do is you're going to bring your hands towards your face, covering your eyes, and then just take a look around. Notice how hard it is to see anything around you, be it beyond your hands. But now lower your hands and take a look around. notice how much more you can see. Notice how much more of your environment is now present in your eyesight, but yet your hands don't go away. Right. So I think what your hands represent is your fear. Your fear is still present, but it doesn't have to keep you from seeing everything else around you. And so fear is a powerful tool and can be used to our advantage if we develop a better relationship with fear. So it's not about eliminating the fear. It's not about trying to avoid it, but how do we work together with it so that I can not only maximize my performance, but maximize my experience as well. And that's what I have for you all today. I wanted to start the weekend off right with some knowledge, with some talk about fear as we begin to propel ourselves into the rest of the weekend, into the upcoming days, months, and the rest of the year. Okay, setting ourselves up for success. So don't forget to like, rate, share, review the podcast. Follow me on Instagram. I'll leave the handle in the description below. Other than that, hey, it's a great day to make an impact on somebody's life. So go out there and do it. All right, y'all. Have a good one.